All right, everybody, happy Monday. It is March 16th, 2026, and we are wrapping up a very complete day. We're up at 5, and it is now 10:37 as we wrap up our day. All messages have been answered, all tasks pending have been complete, all calls were executed well today, and just overall a solid Monday. One of the biggest things that I've been realizing as of recent is simply to just move with speed when you're 80% sure about something. What used to hold me back, and what still does a little bit, but I've been on more and more of the right track of moving with speed correctly. What used to hold me back is just like, you're at 95% on something, and then like thinking even more in order to get to 97%, and then thinking even more to get to 98%, and then not moving, and then the ship sails. As opposed to like, okay, we're 80% sure on something, we've got the right team in our corner, we think this is a good idea, let's just go do it, and then deal with what happens next because we have an 80% chance of winning at it. And unless it's obviously like a massive move, you're like shifting markets or shifting an offer, like that's one thing. But when it comes to like little things, for example, that could either be done now or done in a week after thinking about it for more, I'll always take now as opposed to the week later. We have a rule that I learned from Dan Martell that we have across our team, which is the $50 rule, which is if something costs $50 or less, you just do it. Like, you don't have to ask. Just ask me for the $50 later and I will give it to you every single time. I'll reimburse you, no problem. I'd rather not waste a day of time thinking about if we should do it or waiting for me to answer if I'm on calls. Like, just go do it. And if we're wrong about it, then we'll deal with being wrong later, and we'll learn from it, and we'll get a data point as opposed to thinking about what will happen next. We now know what happens if we do that, so we're able to act better the next time. The same thing goes with social media posts. Like, the guy who posts 7 times a day as opposed to the guy who posts every other day effectively gets 14 times more output, data, and results than the person who only posts every other day. And the person who posts 7 times a day gets better compound interest as well, because the skill level that you have on rep 1 is not the same skill level that you have on rep 162. You're better on rep 162. So now you're effectively getting even more reps at a higher quality. So moving with speed is really big. The example that I bring today is we just had elected for an S Corp in New York. And I was talking with my tax advisor. I was like, hey, like, is New York the move for this? Should I just get everything set up in Arizona because Arizona has less taxes? And they're like, oh my God. Went through all like the files and stuff. I was like, wait a second, New York is totally gonna screw you if we elect for this S Corp now in New York. So to like revoke the S Corp election today because of March 16th is like the business tax filing deadline or something like that. I don't know, that's why I have a tax advisor. But we had to like try to get a New York S Corp and now I have to move everything over to Arizona. So all my billing addresses, mailing addresses, primary residence, ID, bank accounts, all have to be in Arizona. I have to remove all ties from New York. And I could think about that a bunch, or I could just say, yep, I trust you guys, boom, let's go do it. That's what we did today. So I ended up changing a bunch of stuff over and we'll have it all changed within a couple days. So that was what we got done today. Had some really good interviews today and then really good team calls. Love the team calls on Monday. It's our main day for running those calls. And then we did a lot of interviews as well. We got a couple studs on the interviews today. So super excited for that. We're up at 5, did our accountability with Laban, sent him the video at 5, got our 5 reach outs in. Again, no workout. There probably won't be until the end of the month. And then deep work was wrap up the calendar that I had for the client we were working on yesterday, take a bunch of calls, and then prepare for the next day, because the next thing is just having the proper preparation so I can get into the work really easily the next day. It's been a huge impact in the amount of like output we've been able to do in terms of work recently. It's just like giving myself, just when I wake up, I can start working. I don't have to think about what I have to do or where I have to grab the resources, just with a document with the stuff that I need right in front of me. It's been really, really helpful. I've been using the mega doc strategy where there's just one Google Doc with like 100 tabs on the side of it. They're all nested in other sub tabs. Works for me. I would keep going with it. But when in doubt, do the work. There was an opportunity that I had to pass up some work or pass down some work. Both, I guess, mean the same thing, like pass up in order to pass down to someone else that didn't have as much context and the work wouldn't come out as good, and it was something that needs to have a really strong result. I elected to stay up later tonight and do that. So ended up being happy about that. I think future me will thank me as well. I always want to do things where future you will thank you. Future me will thank me for going to bed right now. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'll see you tomorrow.